Hello everyone. Hey John, how you doing? First comment, good one. Sorry I haven't been broadcasting for a bit. I've just been busy with so many different things. So some YouTube videos, I got my Vectrex. I don't know if I did a stream after I built the ACORN system one. That was crazy, 7 hours straight. I was on my feet for the entire 7 hours. Went like a flash. But yeah, they've got a standing desk, so I was using that. So I was a bit, I was tired when I went to bed. I slept well. Yeah, but that was crazy. And I don't know if you caught at the end what happened, but it would have worked first time if it was not for the fact they gave me the wrong crystal. So and get 4 megahertz crystal instead of a 1 megahertz crystal, and I had to go rummaging around looking for my eBay finds of 1 megahertz crystals. Anyway, it did work in the end, so I'm looking forward to that. The Vectrex works like a dream. It's really good, and I've been enjoying playing only the mine game, you know, the one that comes, Mindstorm is the only game I've played on it. I haven't played the other ones that came because I'm going to do those either on a stream or on a video so that you get my first reaction at looking these games. But yeah, and also some music stuff. I've got my producer, studio owner who recorded a lot of my stuff at, is back in action again, so I went to speak to him this week, so I'll be getting moving on some more releases as well, because if I have to do the mixing of them by myself, it takes a long time. I must have spent weeks on doing lottery, and I'm planning some live performances as well and other stuff, so plenty happening. But I means behind the scenes, I'm tidying up as well. You only get to see that room from one camera view. If I turn the camera around, you'd be like, what? But it's getting better. Game reaction, yes, that'll be good. Oh, but something I've always wanted to do was hack the Vectrex. And we could try turbocharging the Vectrex as well, you know, overclocking it. It's like take the circuitry of the Vectrex and put a new processor in it. If you could run the Vectrex with modern processor, you do amazing graphics, because you have to think that the Vectrex hardware, right, was an invention of the 1982. And at that point, processors were, you know, 8-bit processors running at 1 megahertz, like with the ACORN Atom. It was just about a year or so after the ACORN Atom came out. What slows down, where the speed limit is on the Vectrex, is the fact that it's having to build the raster up from the CPU. Right, but that screen, the technology of the screen, is totally capable of filling itself completely white, because that's what you have on a TV. It's basically a TV, but where the X and the Y sort of controls the beam. Now, it might be, because it does hardware interpolation between the dots, it might be that there is a limit, but it'd be good to see how far it could be pushed, right? Because I reckon that it might be possible to actually put a TV signal, so we could get you know, a processor that's fast. The processor would be fast enough to build an entire raster for the display, and that could be very interesting. But that's some way off in the future. But that was one of the things that I had in mind about getting that, because it's so you can't fake it. But that's another story as well, about, you know, emulation CRTs. So many things I'd love to do, but I don't know what I'll get to doing. It would be really easy, John. That's the thing. I was looking at the circuit diagram of the, the schematic of the Vectrex. It's not a problem. It's the screen is 200. If you're using the Vectrex DACs, the digital to analog converters that are in there, then you're limited to resolution, I think, of 256 by 256, right? Which kind of makes sense. But hey, it doesn't have to be like that. You could have digital to analog converters, 16-bit ones. I mean, that's what's used in audio circuitry, in audio devices. So these days, that is, I mean, back then that would have been expensive, but now this is just cheap as anything. So yeah, I think having the X and Y coordinates available as analog signals being driven from new DACs connected to a 68,000, you could definitely do that. And then it would be capable of creating all kinds of it's just interesting because it's different. It's like you might remember when I was doing my own engine in C, right? And I deliberately was doing a vector graphics engine, and I was getting the bloom effect and I wanted it to just feel like that. Well, you can't get more that way than this screen. If you imagine the screen actually as a CRT doing that, it would be awesome. And it's a funny old thing because those games, they come with an overlay that you put over the screen because it's black and white, right? Which was just a price thing, And when these are old, so they're a little bit scratched on the surface where they were taken in and out, they're a little, you look at them there, they're not, and you'd think that would spoil things, but it doesn't. You put them on and you've got a glow, you've got a bloom. That bloom effect that everybody puts on, maybe you're doing Geometry Wars Evolved or whatever on the PS3, I remember playing, or 4, I don't know which one it was, a while back. Just bloom everywhere. It was like putting bloom in. Well, it turns out the bloom effect is exactly identical to putting that gel on front of the Vectrex with there's a bit of sort of scratching and dirt on it, and you just put it on and you get this lovely bloom effect for free. No CPU, GPU needed. It's quite fun. Hey Mike, how you doing? Here is something. There is something called hang on a minute. I need to change my glacé. Hang on. My glazing. I need. Where did they go? My nice. Oh, they're here. There we go. My new cheap ones. That's better. What were you saying? I can see better now. There is something called a Pitrex. I sent you a link. It's an add-on card. I think things like Star Wars and yes. Yeah, well, that sounds very interesting. I'm tempted to try and do it homebrew just because of the fun of it. But yeah, send me the link. Hi. Anyway, hi Mike. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're going to do some more. This is ACORN Atom development, so recreating my game Letteroids from 1980, and I'm doing this exclusively on screen. Am I doing it exclusively on screen? I think I am now. I think there may have been some bits that I did off screen. Actually, I will try and make it mostly on screen. Let me put it that way. I was thinking that actually maybe I mean, sometimes there's something that's just too boring. But anyway, I haven't touched it since the last time I've streamed, so I'm looking at this again. The last thing that I was working on was this score. So that's a nice scoring system that we've got there. And I was profiling it That's what these lines are here. I was doing profiling, but let's sort of undo that first of all, and we can get the game going again. So where was the? I want to remind myself where everything is. We all should see lots of those. Did you have something that for me to merge, Mike? By the way. Inspirational. I like the idea of inspirational. So, yes. A kitchen unit. You should stream that. Seriously, there's always something to learn. People think making a kitchen unit or building anything, it's like, what could possibly go wrong? This here is making those lines. It was literally just done like that for the purpose of profiling, because there's a trick you can do with the atom where if you are accessing the screen while it's drawing, while the video circuitry is drawing the RAM, you'll get noise. You can actually use that noise for profiling. But let's get rid of those lines. And that's fine. And then what we've got is there's a halt being called. So, no, it's not a halt actually. I thought it was a halt because that there is sort of flickering around, but it's actually not. There's this loop for the count. Yes, this thing. Frame count. No, it's not. Where am I calling this? Score BCD, and I'm incrementing the score, and then I'm drawing the score, and this was a test loop. And oh yeah, actually I have here this series of NOPs. This was a delay that was put in to deliberately delay the starting of the drawing of the what this is showing is this is where it starts drawing that score, because I've got a delay that I put in here. So after the VSync, comes down to here and it starts drawing these digits there. It's funny because when you look at this pattern, you can see that it's almost like there's a connection between this pattern and the score. Is what you're actually seeing is the CPU writing to the memory at the same time that that memory is being drawn to the screen. Incidentally, that means that in theory, if you had a fast enough processor, you might be able to recreate the entire screen on the fly, which without any memory, which is a bit like the Atari 2600. But anyway, I digress. That's how long it's taking to draw all the 6 digits at the moment. And it's possible I might need to look at this some more later. The score is not trivial, because if you want it to be as efficient as possible and you don't want to drop any frames, I can't have it that when the score goes up, you drop a frame. So one approach is you hold the score in a variable, and you check if any digits need updating, and you update 1 digit per frame, so that the greatest load that drawing this HUD will take is 1 digit a frame, and then you won't get any stalling. It's clever stuff that you basically are relying on the fact that this doesn't need to be updated instantaneously. From myself, God, don't get me started with that. That was a disaster. That was, I mean, everyone was saying about, yay, oh look, it was a success. No, it wasn't. It was literally, Elon Musk said the thing that it mustn't do is blow up the launch pad, and it literally blew up the launch pad. It's I just don't get it. It's like they didn't know that that was going to happen. There were chunks of concrete flying hundreds of meters, crashing into those big, just repairing the tank farm is going to be an effort. I don't even know how they're going to repair the tank farm. And then they've got to check all the debris everywhere to make sure that all the bits, you know, are accounted for and not lodging in some place where they shouldn't. And someone observed that when the thing was being launched, it didn't go up straight. Did you see that? Normally, when you launch a rocket, it goes straight up. Now, it's possible they deliberately made it lean over a little bit to make it drift away from the tower, and I hope that was the case. But if that was not an intentional drift, the drift could have been the other way, and if it had been the other way, there would have been an almighty, well, the whole thing would have blown up. And has anybody done a calculation of what the consequences would be if that rocket full of all that fuel was to blow up? Has somebody done that calculation? If they were not able to do the calculation to know what would happen to the concrete, I question whether they did the calculation to see what the consequences would be if the whole rocket went up in a single boom. It seems to me, I'm sorry to be a pessimist on this, but it just seems utterly and totally irresponsible. And I can't take it seriously. I really can't. And Elon Musk is saying that they'll be up in a couple of months. I'd love to see that, because as far as I can tell, they're going to have to put a flame trench in. They're going to have to actually do what, I mean, you know, it's the world's most powerful rocket. You could just go and look at what the other rockets that were powerful did. They have a whole infrastructure there for dealing with this. And they set theirs off like it was a firework. I'm sorry. I was just like, it's intentional to avoid the tower. I'm glad. But that makes sense, because otherwise, you know, but still, they avoided the tower, but you know, the tower, it's going to be damaged anyway. I mean, that's the thing. They didn't destroy the tower. Of course, they destroyed the tower with all of those lumps of concrete. What do you think they was doing? There were holes completely over the entire control unit. Apparently, it's the control unit of those arm things, the chopsticks. It was just absolutely pulverized. I'd be surprised if the chopsticks still work. I mean, you just wait and see. The engineer in me is going, what? But he says a couple of months. I put it more like a year to 18 months before we'll see another attempt. Yeah, that's the thing. You're supposed to... Hi, Gareth. Gareth Scott, hi. You're supposed to fail early and often, but the problem is that if you fail too big like this, then you're not going to fail often. I mean, it's like, do you think they'll get another launch license? I wonder what the environmental impact things, you know, the authorities there, and they're in a bloody nature reserve as well. I think it's interesting. Sorry, I'm off on a thing, but it's interesting because I have this philosophy, or this view, let's put it that way, that humanity's disrespect for the environment, it reflects itself, if you know what I mean. You can see it right there with Elon Musk. He cares not one jot about the nature reserve, which has now been, you know, completely... It's probably a complete mess now, at least quite an area. Doesn't care about that, but nor does he care about Twitter. In fact, it's quite interesting. It's like Twitter is a bird. I think he's got something, you know, I think he hates birds, really. I think there's definitely a thing there. So he had to destroy Twitter, and he's destroying birds in a wildlife sanctuary as well. See, these things, they go together, but I digress. Yes, they were going to be sacrificed, and so in that sense, and there's always a risk that, you know, things would go wrong, but that's not the point here. The point is that, you know, he destroyed the launch site. Everybody's being very polite about it, but the actual reality is completely and utterly devastated the entire launch site, so that they're probably going to have to rebuild the whole thing. Because you can't have, you know, 1-ton blocks of concrete flying around and then expect not that. You know, I get that these things are meant to fail, and that's all very well and good, but that one, it was a rush job. They wanted to learn, but at what cost? Yeah, the launch site needs to be built. They've never built a launch site. Let's get real. That was not a launch site. It didn't even occur to me. I mean, I mean, nobody was talking. Well, maybe some people were talking about it, but it didn't occur to me. It was very obvious now. But then I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not expected to see that ahead of time. You know. But anyway, we'll get back to the programming. So I'm not going to worry about the scoring just yet, and there is a thing of let's not worry about problems until they become a problem. So I'll just turn off the delay that I put in. You can see that there's no noise, so basically it's able to update the score all within the vertical blank period. Yes, you know, maybe I should work on a game. There are all these games that I kind of think about, never build, because I don't need to build, because I thought about them. But one would be Elon Musk Simulator. It's got to be done. Someone's got to do it, you know. An Elon Musk Simulator. It wouldn't be hard. It would be hard. I mean, it would be about as difficult as a Boris Johnson simulator, to be honest. There isn't really a lot there when you... So I'm definitely not an Elon Musk fan. Well, he took away the blue ticks. You're seeing that disaster. And it's actually... I'll save that for another time. But it's quite sinister and very disturbing. That blue badge is becoming a badge for the extreme right. That's my prediction, you know. It's like I'm waiting. I'm staying on Twitter for now. I know I had left Twitter, and then I thought, well, just for a laugh. But I'm just hanging in there. I'm waiting for blue sky. The creator of the original Twitter is working on and going to release a new thing. And we can go back to that. I'm just hoping that they will never, they will have within their plan, their company plan, the idea that they can never be taken over by any dictator. Because that's effectively what's happened, right? A public place that was in a way owned by everybody. I mean, the company owned it, but the people taking part, they have a kind of ownership. They're all stakeholders. We were all stakeholders in Twitter, and it's been completely taken over by a dictator. So what was a kind of democracy has now become, yeah, that's you're paying people. You can't do that. I sent him a tweet. He ignores my tweets, of course. I mean, because who am I? But I did point out that, you know, doing that can be viewed. If I was a famous person and he had done that to me, I'd be suing him without even a moment's thought, because I'd be going, you are using my identity to sell your product without my permission. That's a big no-no. You're not allowed to do that. I'm surprised that they haven't already. I imagine that they might do a kind of a joint lawsuit. Flippin' heck. This world is insane. Oh gosh, I received a whole bunch of spam emails saying this tweet is approved for ads. It was like something I posted like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. It's just random, a whole bunch of them. It's just, he's doing that because then when people want to try and advertise, they'll say, you can't advertise unless you've got Twitter Blue. Oh. I bet, you know, there's a part of me is crying, but what I try to do is transmute tears to laughter and just laugh at it instead of cry. We'll just all go together in a big laugh. We'll have a good old laugh, because you might as well, yeah, you know, we might as well laugh at everything because it's a big joke. Anyway, meanwhile, let me, I better, let me, like as if you're preventing me, as if it isn't my fault that I'm doing this. Let's halt. Let's get rid of that halt. I think the game might run now. No, that wasn't the one. Where is it? Oh, it's the jump test loop. So if I take that off, okay, so the game is now running. Yay. Except I can't seem to control the keyboard anymore. Can't control, what were the controls? I've forgotten. And it keeps dying immediately. Oh yes, of course. It was control and shift. And alt to fire. And okay. So I've got to think of what I'm going to work on next. Because that's the thing, isn't it? Got to work on the next bit of this game. So I think it's about time that some kind of staging needs to happen. So I'm going to turn off the enemies first of all. So we had initialize enemies. And how can I turn the enemies off and on? Got to check that too. We've got those are the velocities of the enemies. Because what I need to do is set it up so that each level is sort of different. I don't need to initialize the enemies anymore because there's AI happening already, so you can see that they're moving. These are the enemies. They're these alphas, the Greek letters of the enemies. Let me find behavior. Enemy behavior, and I can disable an enemy with it by disabling its sprite, which also disables the enemy behavior, so that's fine. So let's see where I set up the enemies to actually be not disabled. Here's the proper initialize enemies. So these are the initial positions of the enemies which we just test. Positions, which I'm going to go and do that there, which will the enemies be, yeah, they're starting at 0, and they're over here now, so fine. We're going to call it disable enemies. And I'm supporting it to 2 enemies for now. I'm just going to load a immediate sprite flags. What was it? Sprue flag. Disable. Store a sprite flags enemies index plus 0 and 1. That should disable both the enemies. No, that didn't work. That's interesting. Maybe I hang on, wind is picking up. It should have disabled the enemy, so I can only assume that they are being enabled somewhere else. Oh, right. Well, here I set the slice flag up to make the enemies move one, you know, their movements are sliced with the letters. That is, there's only 1 letter moving per frame. And I was doing that for all enemies here. What I probably want to do is start off with them. If we say they're sliced, but they're also disabled. So if I do that, I think the enemies have been disabled. However, I can see over here there's these dots. There's a dot which then disappeared. Was that a shot? Update shots. Let's just not up shots. Yeah, I start off with the shots disabled, so they should never draw, they should never appear. I can update the shots. There's a fire shot. Yeah, it's kind of interesting as to what that it is there for a long time and then it disappears. I need to really find out what that is. So I suppose what I could do is go into my main loop and say I think it's some kind of stray shot thing happening. So if I disable update shots, what happens? It doesn't disappear anymore. So that means that it is definitely a shot that gets initialized for some reason. And next thing we'll do is keep that commented out, and then we'll comment out the draw shots as well and try that. And nothing appears. Okay. If I update the shots, nothing appears, of course. So there's some kind of weird thing going on with the shots. Withdraw shots. We can get into draw shots. Where are you? There's something weird going on with my confusing me in the editor. Right. Oh. Come on. Malfunction. Malfunction. Right. So what? What do you mean draw? Hang on a minute. This is something's not behaving itself here. Draw shots, right? Is in this, except it isn't. Did I end up deleting a whole bunch of stuff from this file? Oh, I might have done. Hey there, Refly, how you doing? I think I accidentally deleted a bunch of code here. No, let's, what am I doing wrong? Sprite, oh, plural, I need to get rid of files I'm not using anymore. Your code by, yeah. There we go. It was sprites.a, not sprite.a. That was very confusing. So I'm trying to track down, let's see if it's still doing it. I'm trying to track down why that appears and then sort of disappears after a while. Num shots. Oh dear, let's do it step by step. If we do an RTS on here, we should see it not there, it doesn't happen, which is fine. Then is it on the clear? So if there's anything to clear, it might be that this gets, it's weird that it, I don't get why it disappears, you see. Oh. Yeah, Elon Musk is in my head. I'm thinking about Elon Musk. It's like, no, think about the code. So that's the thing. I suppose he's got what he wants, though, hasn't he? He wants everybody thinking about him. Like he's the man, you know. The man of the apocalypse, apocalypse man. Draw, update shots. So if I think that was right, yeah. If I do that, it doesn't display. So in fact, update shots is the issue, not the draw sprites. But the shots should all have been disabled. Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? It's like I shouldn't be doing anything in shots at all if they are disabled, and there's a check there. So what I'm going to do is just do jump halt here and see if it halts. That's weird. It went away. What? What? That's not possible. What? Oh, think about it. If that instruction changed the game in any way, it would change it by going into a halt state. Uh-oh. Right, it's gone. I must have left something. Oh, that's why. Okay, right. I had it still commented out. So let's go back and check. No. What are you doing? This is impossible. It's gone away. Let's keep undoing, because obviously I did something. Oh, maybe it's those two. Let's try again. No. I hate this. It's gone. It's gone away. No. Error does not compute. None of this is making sense anymore. John, you might not be too far wrong. It's like it's crazy, isn't it? We're just so screwed. We're so screwed. But that's okay. It's part of the fun. It's like, if you're not attached to anything, if you're not attached to civilization, it's all going to be fine. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm not making... this makes no sense anymore. So I'm just going to undo everything in this file until we come back to no further information. I'm starting again. We're back at the beginning of the stream. Let's just take off those side things. It's fine. So there we are. Then we'll get rid of the halty thing. Well, the loop. Okay, that's that one. Yeah, we'll comment that out. Comment this out. And we get rid of that, and I don't think this means anything. We'll get rid of that, and we run again. And then they change their mind, because then it's, please train your AI. We can then train our AI off your AI. It's crazy. And the other thing is, people forget that their AI is only able to do what it does because it's been fed by the work of people. All those articles about things written by people. Why bother? I mean, it's like, take for example Wikipedia. So the way that Wikipedia works is people feel good when they contribute to Wikipedia. At least it used to be the case. Now, the only people who contribute to Wikipedia are the ones who can stand the toxicity of Wikipedia. But they still do it because they feel like they're contributing to something. But when nobody goes to Wikipedia anymore because they just go to ChatGPT, then why would anybody make Wikipedia articles? I mean, basically what I'm saying is that people make the articles, they create the work that is ripped off by the AI, and people never go to the original source anymore because it's much more convenient to go to the AI. And this means people stop creating the stuff that is used to train the AI. which means that the AI will no longer be current. It's only as good as the efforts of all the people who created the stuff that it ripped off. If it's that stuff stops being made, then the AI can no longer be current and relevant anymore. So what they're going to do then? Then they are going to say, we don't need human beings involved in this process at all. We're just going to have the AI train itself. We don't need people to write articles on things. We just have the AI will write the articles on things. You see where this is going, right? So in the end, you know, everything that ChatGPT or any of the AI is going to be trained on will be stuff that only machines have thought of. So it's going to gradually not be relevant at all to human beings. But guess what happens then? Well, all of this investment in the AI, and it's like, and all of the use of the AI for manipulating public opinion and all of that, which will also be, of course, already is. And hey, we're not going to let it fall apart. They'll just carry on with that and just make everybody, you know, all of humanity follow along. So that humanity is then consuming that which machines have created for machines, but you condition people to accept it anyway. And we all become machines. It's the Borg in a different way. Resistance is futile. But it's okay. It's okay. You can all laugh. Because none of it matters. It's all a game. What does it matter? It doesn't matter. And you can just have fun. We can just work on our 6502 8-bit video game recreation. Now, I need to turn off the enemies. This is where it all started to go wrong. Because you'll notice that, yeah, it's good that I backtrack because it wasn't making any sense anymore. But you notice that there are no stray shots here. No stray shots. I disabled the enemies and I started to get stray shots. So going to disable the enemies again. Here's the enemies. See, that's where I slice the enemies. Spur flag, disable. Well, we'll do a little bit of disabling. And so now I disable the enemies. That's good. They were still initialized. But they've been drawn in their initial positions, but they're just sort of dead in the water. I don't know if I can shoot them. Probably all hell will break loose if I try and shoot them now. Let's try. Now, let's see. Oh, right. Come on. Where's my... Oh, I don't think I can shoot them. Why can't I shoot? Oh, that's interesting. I'm no longer able to shoot. And this is one of those things you get when you're making a game in assembler and a tight budget, is that then you start finding these dependencies. That's a bit weird. Pondering on that, I'll have a look at the chat. Take care, John. Have a good night. Okay, sleep well, John. Can we all be Bjork instead of Borg? Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really an expert in that. You have to ask someone else. Right, so let's disable the disabling of the enemies, and then I'll see if I can... No, I can't shoot at all. That's weird. And the enemies, they're no longer disabled. They're not shooting at me either. Which is distressing because it suggests that I have somehow disabled shots. Oh, yes, and I did. I put an RTS in there. Duh. Thank you, enemies. You immediately killed me without any hesitation. Merciless. Ooh. Ow. All right, so we got, what am I doing? Right, yeah, I'm trying to disable the shots. That was what the whole thing was about. So we'll do that now. We disable the shots. Not the shots, the enemies. And I can shoot now. Now what happens if I shoot an enemy? The zombie enemies. Oh, it shoots it. It destroys it. That's fine, because the enemy's there. It's just disabled. But it was put on the screen at a certain location. Which is kind of an interesting idea for the gameplay. To sort of have stationary enemies. Alright. So let's now not initialize those enemy positions at all. Just going to get rid of that. And the velocities of the enemies, we can get rid of that. I'm not going to initialize either of those. And yeah, now it works for some reason. So whatever that problem was, I probably deleted some line I shouldn't have or whatever. So I can shoot. And I can refuel. Let's just check that that's working. Ow. See, that's a tricky when they were together like that. It's like, how do you pick up one of those without crashing into the other? Bit unfair if they're right on top of each other. A, B. Oh. We can go F. We can go G, H. Where's I? I didn't get I. There's I, right. And J. J was going slower than it should, so why? Probably the slice counter is wrong. Slice, 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 slice counter. Where are you? It's the slicing cycle or the slicing count. The slicing cycle. Weird names to things. Number of letters plus number of enemies. But it should actually start off with just the number of letters. Because there are no enemies. So the letters will be moving a bit faster. But they should actually move. By the time you get down to the letter J, it should be moving as fast as the ship. Oh. I was talking, you see what happened there? I was talking about the letter J. And so I tried to refuel on the letter J. It is not a good idea, because you're supposed to do them alphabetically. And, oh, No, I'm running out of time. Come on. Oh, that was really tricky, but I got there. Right, where's D? Where's D? 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 Did I? There's D. It was off the screen. Ah! Yeah, E. Okay, good. Get E. Now, where's F? There's F. This can be exciting. G. H. Yeah, that's better. What I want to check is that J is the same speed. It is. It's the same speed as the ship, which can make it difficult to figure out how to pick it up. Now, what I want to do then, because I've put various ingredients together, but I need to get the flow of the game. And one of the things I noticed playing it is I'm not feeling it. It's like the gameplay, not quite. There are some things, something's missing. So that's maybe timing. The rhythm of the game. Now, the original game, when you refueled, there was a bit of a spectacle to refueling. Right now, it just sort of pops the refuel bar up. The game had it would fill it up, and you would get a sound while it did that. I think we have sound enabled at the moment. Let me just see. Crash, please. Oh God, I can't even. Right, yeah, I can hear it over there. The problem is that there's a huge latency on this emulator with the sound, which is really annoying. I don't think there's anything I can do about it. So I'm going to try. Ooh. Right. All right. Okay. Ouch. The thing is, I looked at the way the game was tuned on that released version. I don't trust that released version because the publisher messed with it. They forced me to make changes to the game, which I just went along with to shut them up. It's not how I remember the original game. So I'm just going to tweak the gameplay a little bit right now. The first thing I want to do is to change the turning circle. I think it's too tight. If the turning circle is too tight, it just makes the game boring. I can play with it though. So maybe there's something called turn speed, turn count, reset count. Somewhere it must be a parameter. Where did I put it? Blah blah blah. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it's hardwired. Let's look for the word turn. Read turn input. Increment. Shift pressed. Okay, that's decrement. Right, load a ship turn. Subtract. What? Subtract $80. Oh yes, it's the value from there. Load a ship turn. Load a 0. Reset count. Here. It's that. It's basically this number. Let me put that in. Turn speed. And then I can put this up here. Turn speed. Yeah, that's a good idea, because there could be a thing where you can power up. You collide with it, or oh my word, or you could have certain weapon that gets fired, and when it hits you, it causes your ship to turn more slowly. There's no end to what you can do. And if you're building a game where you have that flexibility to try stuff out, then you end up with exciting gameplay. This is one of the reasons why gameplay is a bit, let's say, pedestrian these days. It's because the games have become so complicated, you can't experiment or play with it. And you have an idea like that, and it's like, well, who's going to pay attention? Oh, we can't do that. But there's with the simplest ideas. Yeah, look at that. It changes. It's 4 instead of 6. It changes the feel of it entirely. But my feeling with that is that if you change it so that it steers like this, is like more. I could imagine how the publisher would have been saying, "Can you make it turn more quickly?" And it's like, yeah, you can make it turn more quickly. We can make it turn quicker than that, you know. We can go like, you know, let's turn like this. Look at that. Wee. But then at a certain point, it's like, it's boring. You don't have to do any think ahead, really. You just flip around, and it's just like, wee. It's like, okay. There's a different kind of difficulty, though, because now it's difficult to get in the direction you want to go. La 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 la. A. Come on, B. Oh. Got B. And then shooting. It's a bit. Not to mention the lag compared to the real thing. Turn speed, we can go. It was 6. I'm going to try 8 a minute. I think that's too much. But it does have an advantage of making it easier to aim. That's too much. So we'll try a turn speed of 7. Maybe it was 6, I don't know. This is how I kind of remember it. Yeah, I think it was originally like this. Which is 7 frames per 16th of a circle. Yes, I could. Maybe that's for that would be, I could, yes, why not? I couldn't have done it originally because I didn't have any fixed point math. But now I do, I could. That's good ideas for the sequel. I can finally write a sequel to this game. No, but you're giving me ideas. I could see how there's ways this could be made. It could increase the depth. Come on, where's E? E. D, I mean. Yeah. All right. I think I'm happy with that, and I do think this is how it was originally. I'm pretty sure. It feels nice. Ow. So let's work on the gameplay cycle. The letters start and the ship just starts, but what we really want to do is not have it start just like that. So what we could do is you press the space bar to start. I think that may be how I did it, which is that you pick the moment that you appear, so you can choose, you can wait until there's a bit of space and then you can start. So maybe that's the right way to go with that, which means that we start off with the ship disabled. So let me try disabling the ship. Yeah, it's initialize ship. In the center, but sprites flags on the ship. I don't think I do that on the ship. Okay, I don't. I'm going to have to do some refactoring soon. I like refactoring. Where was my initialize ship? So I'm going to initialize the ship with it disabled. Load a immediate sprue flags, sprue flag disable, store a sprite flags plus ship index. So we start with ship disabled. Oh, thank you. This is a pretty advanced game on the for the Atom. I trained myself on the ACORN System 1 though, so it wasn't like my first attempt at doing assembly programming. I actually started with machine code on the ACORN System 1, and then I made a display which I built from a project from Practical Electronics and attached it to my ACORN System 1, and then I had video display, and I made my first video based game on that. Which was, I think, letters. It was later, the ACORN Atom, I made a version that was in BASIC. But it was this idea of, you've got letters on the screen and you have to go and pick them up. It's kind of like inspired by Snake and Asteroids and, I don't know, games I saw at the time. But that's another project. I've got the parts to do that. I found the project. I need to build the PCB. I've been working on the PCB off and on. So that's another project. Plenty to do. Have you seen the new game that Sarah Jane Avery's been doing on the C64? No, I haven't. But by all means, paste a link. Let's run again. So the ship has appeared in the middle of the screen, even though it is disabled. And the reason for that is probably that I drew the ship, draw ship somewhere early on. Somewhere I need to have drawn the ship. in the initialization phase for it to appear, so I need to track that down. Oh, no, no, no. I'm not drawing the ship. It happens when we draw the sprites. This initialize ship here, right? It says start with ship disabled, but then why is it drawing the ship if the ship is disabled? Well, it's a good question. That's the thing, the ship is disabled, but it got drawn. Let's see where it's drawn. So to find out where it's drawn, I can say jump halt here and see does it happen before it halts. So yeah, it does. It's probably not going to draw now. I halt before it's drawn. That's correct. So it's when it does draw sprites 1 that what? Right, let's try sprites. So what I'm looking for here is when I do draw sprites 1. Here we go. Draw sprite 1. Ooh, it doesn't check to see whether the sprite is disabled. That's interesting. So that's why it gets drawn. So I need to add that in there because I don't want it to draw the sprite if the sprite is disabled. So we check for the bit load a sprite flags and immediate 8, which is, I haven't got that shared between 2 files. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Branch if not equal draw sprite 1 dash 2 that'll do it, I think. Let's try that. Okay, so the ship hasn't appeared. There is some other problem there though. Now I've got state the ship is disabled. Why is it consuming fuel? Because the fuel gauge is going down. I've also got this little dot here. I know what address that is roughly. That particular dot will be probably, for debugging purposes, 8000 and 8002, 8001. Ah, it was that. It's a piece of debugging I was left in. Okay, let's try again. So, oh no, it's back. Do you remember it was that problem I was having about that dots, those dots that appeared and then disappeared for some reason? They're back. That's really annoying. Oh, I'm not going to try chasing that down now. I don't want to change my thoughts again. It'll figure itself out later. Oh, that's interesting too, is that the ship appeared when it blew up. That's because it's trying to undraw the ship by redrawing the ship on the XOR. So Anyway, let's start by making it so that the fuel bar does not go down if the ship is, you know, disabled. So that will be something to do with handle fuel. So we'll just do some fuel handling. There's a reduce fuel function. So it's wonderful when you actually name functions that you call. Makes life so much easier. Load a ship status. And oh, so that's the state of the ship. Well, where am I using ship status? Update ship. Ship offline. Why does it say B0 ship off? Oh. No, this, I have a ship status. Okay. Reduce fuel. It should not reduce fuel if the ship is dead. I was disabling the sprite. Not the same thing as disabling the fuel. Let's create a function, disable ship. And that ship function is going to do load a immediate sprue flag disable or it with sprites flags plus ship index and store to same. But then I also need to do a similar thing where I load a with ship status and I do an or immediate one and store a. No, not hash ship status. So I'm actually setting a bit but leaving the others alone. I'm going to just do it this way, just so it's consistent with the way I did it above. And then RTS. So that, if I use that to disable the ship, then we'll be fine. But let me see where I'm using the ship status. It's update ship, check the ship status, that's fine. I'm checking the ship status, kill ship. So here I'm doing, okay, so we do explode sprite and I'm also doing both here, and I think I should not be doing that yet. I go and I don't do this either because I'm doing the same thing over again. And so to kill the ship, it's 10 is the index of the sprite for the ship. So I load X with that. I explode the ship. I load the ship index, which is 10. So this is an old, I can do it like that way. Explode the sprite, clear the sprite, JSR, disable ship. That's much better. And then hopefully, oh no, I'm not done yet. I need to keep looking, because where else am I doing this? This was disable ship, which is fine. We reduce fuel. I'm checking the bit there. I'm checking the bit, not setting it. So yeah, we're good. Then what I do is disable the ship at the start. which I did here, start with ship disabled, and now I can just do JSR disable ship, and then I don't need the comment anymore as well. Right, boom. Let's try that. So now, yep, we don't have the thing going, the fuel gauge going down, which is good, and we can wait. I'm going to make it, you press the space bar, and when you press the space bar the ship will appear. So that will be the next thing to do. We also, I want to get this right, because it's like, this is how it's going to be when you see the game start. Right now it's not right, because it's not starting with a score of 0. So let's try and find the score. We've got the score held in 2 ways. We've got score and score BCD. I think I need to put a function to set the score. I need a, oh, if I set the score, clearing it is the same. This is a hardwired score setting. This is the draw. Right. Clear score. Let's do JSR clear score, because we want to clear the score, because that's important to clear the score. Right. And then we can draw the score. And we need to make those functions now. So let's start off with clear score. We'll do a yank, and that's the draw. Where's the other one? Come on. Oh, I hate it when it does that. It should have put that into the... I need to... Oh, maybe I didn't do it that way. Tell you what, let's do... It's better, safer way to do this. So we do that load A immediate 0 store in the score plus 0 store a score plus 1, and then RTS, and so this will be the clear score function, which I can put down in here, so I can do a JSR to a clear score. And it clears both scores, the BCD score and the normal score, binary coded decimal score and the normal score. So we clear the score, and we draw the score. Maybe I didn't do that one yet. Draw score. Draw score, yank, RTS, right, and let's see if that works. So 10. Don't you hate it when something almost works? 10. Where did the 10 come from? 10. 10? Where the hell did 10 come from? That is just nuts. 10. here. I'm a bit confused. I don't understand. What's it doing? You've got score BCD, load A immediate sticks, store A 82. That makes sense because it's saying store the number of digits in 82, and then we store how does this function work? Oh, here. Right. Yes, sorry. It's written here. Z is the 0 page address for where the score can be found. And then 88.1, it's the screen address, and then 82 is the number of digits. So that's setting up those registers just fine. And it does, but the address is going to be score BCD, which is 0 page memory 12. Something has overwritten it, or we can test that. I think as I'm using memory that is used by the operating system, but to be honest, it shouldn't. It doesn't even, the system doesn't even have interrupts, so that's weird. Well, if I put in here something like 99 in hex, which is really 99 in decimal because this is binary coded decimal, on, I should just get a bunch of nines. Oh, I only got one 9. No, this is not quite making sense, is it? So funny, because it seemed like the score was working before, but now I need to figure that out. I clear the score and I draw the score. That's what I said, isn't it? Clear score, draw score. If I put 0 in there, I get 10. If I put 99 and all the digits, I should have 9s, but I don't. So I'm going to rule out that it's sort of some operating system interference by just putting some other address above 80. No, that's not it. There's something else going on. Load X, score BCD, load 86. There's a draw instruction here. Oh no, yeah, it's draw 6 digits. This is disabled, it's not even calling that. Let's have a look at the draw score routine. We're going to draw it to 8010, which is halfway across the screen. And 6 digits. What happened if I just did 1 digit? Okay, I have some baguettes to deal with. This is the draw BCD function. Okay, well, to figure out what's wrong with this, we go and apply the usual routine, which is, I don't know what's going on, doesn't make sense, so we need to get to a point where it makes sense. That's now the priority. It's like, get to anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't matter as long as it makes sense. And so a good way of getting to that is to go all the way to the draw digit routine and do a load x immediate 0. Oh, let's do 9. Let's do 8. Load x immediate 8. I'm hardwiring the digits to be 8. And then they all appear as 8. And that's, now we're in, or 7. Well, we're in the land of it makes sense, which is good. That's something to work with, right? Now, if I do that, it doesn't work. So we go back to where I did the reset score, which is here. Clear score, I'm loading 99. All right, let me just try 98 and see what happens. Okay, so there's definitely something weird going on here. All right, because that should be 080808 that's appearing. We're not getting that. But I've confirmed that this does influence the score, so that's fine. Let's leave it at that. We want 98, 98, 98. Okay, so then when we draw the score, I'm loading X the score BCD address, which I stored these in, right? So that should be fine. And I do draw in BCD. And I confirm that if I hardwire the digit, that this works. Well, where does it get the digit from? It pulls it from the accumulator and transfers it to X. Not pulls it off the stack and transfers it to X. Increment 80. What is 80? It's the screen address. That makes sense because I need it to move on a digit. That's fine. But where is it reading X? Is this increment? Yeah. Increment X. So this is, because there's odd and even digits, that's the only complication. Oh, that'll be why it went wrong, probably, because I used an odd number of digits. Load a 80, which was a screen address. You push that screen address onto the stack, and I push -1 onto the stack as well. And then I load the number of digits into the accumulator, and then I check from the number of digits, are we even or odd? And this is pushing onto the stack that nibbles each digit, in effect. It's pushed as a byte by itself onto the stack. And then this part here is then I'm pulling it back off the stack until I get -1. But then I know I'm finished. That's the -1 that I pushed here. And I obviously didn't test this enough. because it seemed to work, but yeah, it doesn't seem to work anymore. So I pull them off the stack and transfer it to the X and then draw the digit. So we've got pushing the values to the stack and then pulling the values back out. So what I guess I can do is just do load A immediate 6. And I should have, the only thing I'm changing is that it pushes onto the stack the digit 6. I expect to see a whole row of 6s. And right there we see a problem because I'm not seeing 6s, am I? Oh, I'm seeing 6s on each one. That's, yeah, because there are 2 paths depending on whether it's odd or even. Yeah, I need to do both of those. Because, you know, you either take the bottom 4 bits or the top 4 bits. So in this case, I'm taking the top 4 bits and shifting them right 4 times. This one I'm just masking by ending with 15. This should give me all, where we've got all 6s here. So this suggests that the problem is when I get this load AX, it suggests that X is getting corrupted. How could X get corrupted? Let me try different values in here. So 2 and 6, we should have 2, 6, 2, 6, 2, 6 as. That makes sense. What okay, next thing. That all is behaving, that all makes sense, right? So let's look at the value that I load in here. When I load in the value, I have 2 loads actually. Watch out for that, because depending on it's odd or even, I'm going to override the value that I've loaded with one I'm just going to put in. So this is going to be like $45. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm overriding the value that I'm reading indexed by X here with some other value, 2, 3. No, 4, 5 as well. Yeah, that was. So what we should see is 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, which we do. Now I'm just for a laugh going to put 9, 9 and 8, 8 and see what we get. 9, 8, 9, 8, 9, 8. Yeah, I could expect that. This will take the 9 and this takes the 8. So the conclusion then is that everything works here. Where do we modify the X register? So look for the X register is, no, there's here, it's just here. I do an increment. Okay, next thing is that we can jump DIB3 decrement. When we're finished, we go to DIB4. So I'm just going to do here jump DIB4, and what we've got is 0, 8. So that's a little weird. Oh, it starts off even, so it will have pushed this, and then it does this. I just want it to do 1 digit. So let's do a jump to DIB. This is a temporary thing. On the odd or the even approach, even thing. This one, when it's even, it doesn't increment X because it stays on the same byte. Decrement 8, 2. Yeah. Branch if not equal. I'm just going to put it here. So I expect to see one digit. I see the one digit, and the digit is 8. Okay. Well, let's look. Yes, 98. Well, this is still making sense. If I put in here 34, I would expect to see 4. I see 4. If I put in here 39, I would expect to see 9. So, yeah, that's all working. What this means is that x makes sense for the first digit, and if I remove this jump here, it will execute the thing for both the low nibble and the high nibble. I expect to see 2 digits now, and those 2 digits should correspond to the test value that 49. Now here we get the first deviation. That's interesting. We had 39, and it's become 49. You want me to keep the rain over here? What would you like me to do? Do you like me to... I could do a rain dance. I could go out into the garden and do a rain dance to keep the rain here. I might get struck by lightning, though. Actually, I can't. I wouldn't know what I'm doing. But hey, since when has that stopped anyone? Not knowing what you're doing. Turns out not knowing what you're doing is not an impediment at all. Shame, man. Yeah. I've got the first one, the first problem. There it is. The first deviation from sense. I put in 39. It prints 49. It does the 9 first, then it comes back again and does... So that value that I'm using has been modified. It has been incremented, but not by 1. It's been incremented by hex 10. It's very odd. Because... so the only way that could happen is if x was modified, which could be modified if draw digit modifies x, which has got to be what it is. But I thought that no, because I don't draw the digit. That's the point. That's the whole point. I do the pre-calculation, put it on the stack, pull it off the stack, and then draw it. So x is not how is x modifying anything? I increment x to move on to the next, but that doesn't even get called. What? Ah! This hurts. I've got a headache now. This is impossible. This is impossible. How can it do that? I never increment x. This x is never called. I don't increment x. I'm getting the same value each time. The first time I get 38. 38, sorry, 39. I'm 39, my test value is 39, and that's stored in all of the addresses, including this address, which now BCD, I put that somewhere that it can't possibly get stomped on. What did I modify then? I thought I modified that. What? Didn't I thought I did. Well, so much for that. It doesn't matter. Oh, I did modify it, and then I found it didn't matter, so I put it back. Mystery continues. BCD, you see, is just address 12. that code isn't even being executed. It's commented it's conditionaled out. It's like, okay, so BCD 39, 39, 39, which is fine, you draw the score. I say X, point at, I'm pointing there. Okay, load A with 6, store it in 82, 88, 80, 81, 82, nowhere near BCD thingy. Draw, we're in the draw routine. We load A with the... Why do I push that? Oh, I back up 80. I back up the screen address so that it doesn't get modified. And then I push -1 onto the stack as the marker of when we're finished. Then I load A with it's the number of digits. And that's 6, so it starts off even. I AND it with 1, a branch if equal, which will be dib2, which is the even number. I load 0, x. That's load the memory location in 0 page x. The contents of gets loaded into A. And we know that works because I tested it, and I do it with 15, and I push it onto the stack. I say, yay! And then we decrement 82. Decrementing 82 is the number of digits. And if we're finished when it's equals 0, it's not equals 0. We can jump back to dib1. And then I load the number of digits that we've got left. And it's now 5, and 5, you look at the bottom bit, it's going to be set. That means it's odd. Is branch of equal? No, it's not equal because it's set. And then we load A with what should be the same thing as it loaded in before. Then it does force shift right, stores it. Then right now jump to dib4. But I print 2 digits. The 2 digits I get are not the 2 digits I'd expect. Okay, all right. We need to get back to something that makes sense. I guess what I could do is just try. You look at it and say, why the hell would this make any difference? But you know, when you're in a world where nothing makes sense, you need to stop saying, well, it can't possibly be that. Of course it can. It can't possibly, no. At this point, all bets are off. It can be anything, because you're not understanding what's going on. So I'm loading 76 and storing it in the 0 page address that was given to me in X. And if that doesn't work, then I'll put in a hardwired thing. I just pretend as though I don't understand 6502 opcode. Here, we've got 76. See? I'm missing something. I feel like I'm being very stupid. I probably forgot to put $1 in there or something. Let's try 92. I think I'm going to be slapping my forehead in a minute. 42. 24. This works. So the only conclusion is it can only be that I'm not... What? $39. $49. Okay, let's backtrack a bit, because I didn't try that test number, did I? I mean, come on. I put in 39. This is going to be interesting, because if this comes out 39, then that's really, really odd. And if it comes out 49, it's also really, really odd. But at least it's two different 39. All right, is that odd? So if I ask it to draw 39, it draws 39. But if I store it in this address and then say draw it, then it comes out 49. Okay. Help. Okay, the problem is not the draw BCD routine. It's 80? Where did 80 come from? Oh. What? Ah. Yes. Sorry. I know why that is. Both of these instructions I need to remove. Right. 49. So we got this mystery of 49. Right, look, I load 39 in here. Look, I haven't forgotten the dollar sign. I put it in here, and then I do clear score, draw score. That's the assumption. Look, well, look, draw, clear score, draw score. Okay, then presumably I modified it here. So what we do is we go back a little bit further, and it's like, there's no point in thinking about it anymore. We just do, okay, I'm going to load in here $39. I know it looks really stupid, but I mean, it's like, what else can I do to figure this out? Score B. So the funny thing was, I was just thinking today, isn't it nice? I literally was thinking, isn't it nice that that storm had stopped and the wind has stopped? And I had my window open because it was a bit warm, and actually I'm cold now. And actually the storm came back, and that's because I literally thought, how nice that it's teach me. 49. Can anybody make head nor tail of this? Look, I mean, I'm literally loading this in. This is one of the weirdest. This is one of the weirdest debugging things I've had in where this is no longer a groundhog bug. We're in a Twilight Zone bug, and we haven't had one of those before. But this is definitely a Twilight Zone bug. Look at that. What I put. I put load a $39. Okay, here I'm going to put something else because I've got more than 139. Look, there it is, 39. I load a 39, store a score BCD, right? And I'm limiting the drawing of my score to being just the 2 digits. So there's nothing to mess up here. And I'm getting the number I put in. Now, if I put in 42, I'll get 42. And it is working absolutely fine. 39, oh. The only thing it could be is the carry flag, but I don't see how. Maybe the carry flag. It's got a carry flag feel about it, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, everything is the same except the carry flag. Nah, I can't. All right, never mind. Don't think about it. Just do. We've got 39 in score BCD there, and then we get our 39, and then I literally put the same thing in front of the JSR draw in BCD, and I get 49. What is going on? Oh, jeez. I'm now, you know what's going on. I'm now thinking, There's a bug in the assembler. There's a bug in the emulator. What? Okay, okay. What we have is logic to the JSR. What does the JSR do? The stack. It's the stack. Could be. That would be different. I am playing with the stack. You do store the value before you do the JSR. There's going to be a different stuff on the stack. That could be a difference. Let's check how many pushes and... Well, no, we don't corrupt the stack. If we corrupted the stack, we'd never get back off here after the return. There is a way of testing that, though. I can simply jump. I can jump into it instead of doing JSR and RTS. It's the old optimization. You can just do a jump, and if I jump to it, then it'll behave just the same. The RTS will be the return from this function in effect, but this subroutine, it doesn't matter. That was an old classic. Thing, but the point is that by doing that, the stack is different. Now, if I get 39 now, then I know it's the stack. It's the only thing that could be different. No, I still get 49. I don't like this. If I put it here, then I get 39. Oh my gosh. Let's store it somewhere else. Let's try storing this in dollar. Store it in a memory location. We'll store it on the screen. Then I can see it. We'll store it in $8,000. Can I do that? No, it needs to be a... Right. Okay, this is just crazy. But what I'm going to do is I hardwire loading 39 and store it there, and then I can see the 39 on the screen there. Okay, it was confusing me because there was those two dots from the shot appearing there, but you can see now it looks like 39 to me. 1 0 0 1 1, that's 3, and then 1 0 0 1, which is 9. Okay, and then when we do this load A, I'm just going to override it with another load A, which is just going to load it from that byte that's on the screen. 8,000, and we'll do the same here, and we can get 39 or 49. Your guess is as good as mine. You see, now it's 39. Okay. The address that I'm... Maybe I'm misunderstanding how the opcode works in zero page. It's possible. Let's look at score BCD. And what I'm going to do is literally going to load it from that address directly instead of using the index thingy, whatever. We get 39. It had to be. If that was still 49, I'd be going. So if I comment out this, it's still 39 now. Oh, that's because I've stored the 39 there. Okay, so let's take that off and we try this. 10. Are you serious? Oh yeah, no, I commented these out. Try again. Still 10. Oh, yeah, because I still had that 8,000. So I'm loading it 39 into score BCD. And now I'm hardwiring the read back. And now it's 49. God, oh my gosh. Okay. So that doesn't work. Makes sense. We'll try an address now. We'll put the screen address. If it comes up 49, oh, this is like, yeah, Twilight Zone. Look, you see? So it's nothing to do with the X register. It's got to do with the memory I was using. Let me try putting this at some random address somewhere, like, I don't know, FE 9, 99. 99. We'll try 99. $1.99. $1.99. $1.99. $1.99. There we go. That's hex address 99 in 0-page memory. We store 39 in here. There. Load it out of 0-page memory. Well, that worked. Store a score BCD. So if I use this score BCD and I put that here and I put that here and we try again, now it's 49. Dude. Let's change the address of score BCD. We're going to make it, I don't know, C0. I'm sure that I've not got anything at C0. It's 49. Instead of 39, we go to score BCD, wherever I'm doing it down in here, see in here, and I said C0. So instead of saying score BCD, I say $C0. And I do the same here. I do the same here. Oh. There's still 49. I was literally thinking I must have a RAM error. I guess how insane it is. I'm running on an emulator. How can there be a RAM emulator? Jeez. I don't get it. It's weird. Oh, we have a new person. Can you confirm load A0X is generating the opcode B5? I could, but it's a good idea, but it's irrelevant because I've hardwired it. I've bypassed it. I'm literally recreating the problem by using an address, and you can see it here. It's the weirdest thing. I cannot see why that is happening. I think it's the carry flag. It's the only thing it can possibly be, is something to do with the carry flag. It's sort of like, I was thinking the same, there was something wrong with that opcode, but no, it's like there's 39 in C0 and I'm loading it back. And not only that, it only happens in 0 page. Look, if I go and take not a 0 page, it's possible it's a bug in the emulator, but that'd be crazy. Let's try with this. Now, by using 8000, I'll see it on the screen. And it's 39 now. But if I do it in 0 page memory, and it doesn't matter which 0 page memory, it could still be the carry flag, depending on how the behavior of the... It feels like there's some loose cannon flapping around, right? It could be the draw digit routine. Well, let's go check what that does. But that's the blit routine. It didn't do anything. It's an unrolled 8-byte blit. Yeah, you're right, I should. Just to rule it out. Although, again, yeah, it's like I was saying, it's like when these things happen, there's no point in trying to, you know, work it out. So I'll try that. No. Wherever I was. No, I'm in the wrong file. There we are, here. So... okay, well, first of all, let's put it back to exhibiting the behavior, which involves picking any 0 page address at all. Let's try EE. It doesn't matter which one I pick. Oh, right, I must remember to change them here as well, right? So, all right. You know, I was saying any 0 page address. Not true. 0 page address EE doesn't seem to have a problem. I'm beginning to doubt my reality now. Let's try again C0. So we put there, and we go there, and we go there, and we get 49. Okay, so it's some 0 page memory. Oh, the only other thing I can think of that would happen would be, no, if you override... I was thinking, could the stack corrupt 0 page memory? It can't. The stack is the second 256 byte page, and the stack pointer is only an 8-bit stack pointer. So when you run out of stack, it goes back to the top again. It's never going to go erasing any. So, right. Anyway, we have the exhibited behavior, and in front of the draw digit, no, in front, let's start off here. In front of here, we're just going to, for the hell of it, do a clear carry. And, or a set carry. Okay, the other one that I'm thinking is the decimal mode. That didn't do anything, but what about the decimal flag? Could it be that? Said? You set decimal mode, bad idea. When the thing RTS is, just checking if there are any more. We're going to do a clear. I'm going to have to. Well, I mean, the kind of answers. It's like clear decimal mode. Okay, you set decimal mode, and it just screws everything up, as you can see. There's maybe a hint of a 4 there, but it's not the decimal flag. Yeah, it's not the decimal flag, and it's not the carry flag, and I don't know what the hell it is anymore. I can hardwire it. What else? I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is probably... This feels like the weirdest bug I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've seen a lot of them. The C0. But some addresses, it's okay. Others, it is an instability on the second cycle through. You load the same, but nothing changed C0. Nothing accesses C0 anywhere in the code. I have it hardwired so that it hurts. Okay. Assumption is that the problem is here, but I am pulling the stuff off the stack, and it could be that the problem is here somehow. I increment 8.0. It's wait. Let's have a look at what draw digit modifies. It modifies Y, but Y is set here. It doesn't matter that it modifies Y. I'm not using Y. We have the X register. I can't see that, but you know what? At this point, it's going to be. What can I say? Transfer X to A, push A, transfer Y to A, push A, draw the digit, pull A, transfer A to Y, pull A, transfer A to X. So, I mean, that's insane. Of course, it's not going to make any difference. What about if I don't increment that? Let's put them on top of each other so I can't see which one's which. Okay, I was going to try something else, which is that as I pull the data off and transfer A to X to draw the digit, I store. I'm going to try something else. I was thinking I could try and inspect the stack, but here's a crazy idea. We have here a branch if equal, as whether or not it's doing the high nibble or the low nibble. What will happen if I reverse the sense of that? So I do a branch if not equal, right? First of all, though, let me make sure that we're back to where we were. So I have 4, 9. If I do branch if not equal, it will do the 9, the 4 first, and it does the 9 first. Okay, yeah, that's not going to quite work because, yeah. But looking at this, I decrement the. All right, if I comment out that increment x, because increment x goes on to the next byte, then I can reverse the sense of this. What? Yeah, and it doesn't even matter. All right, but I got a 4. That's not the point. The point is I got a 4, which also doesn't make sense. So if I do branch if equal, we're going to end up printing the number again. So I got 49. The way the code works is it's going to start off with 6, which is an even number. So it will do the even one first. It pushes onto the stack 9. It comes back for the second nibble. It's loading. All right, I've got to wait. All right, okay, I've just had an idea. When I load the value in twice, but I load it on the odd and the even side, and it looks like the number is different from the first time to the second time. So what I could do is store what I have loaded in here in screen memory. So if I store it at, say, 8800, we will see it. And then I will store it at 8840, 2 lines down. So they should be the same. Sneaky, huh? Because what's happening is that number appears to change. Did it? No, it's absolutely the same. The same frickin' number. Well, at least that's a step closer, right? And they both say 49. That's 49. That's not 39. There are 4. That is 4 9s. No, not 4 9s, but it's 4 9. 4 9 in hex, not 3 9 in hex. You don't believe me? I don't know whether to believe me or not. Look. Jeez. I can hardly bear this. Now you can see it. 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 1. It's 4 9, which is what it's displaying. So I was thinking that it was coming back as a different number between the 2 cycles, but in fact it's the same number. I put in 3 9. Okay, I can narrow this down a bit. Look, the problem now is I store 3 9 in C0. You give me that? Will you give me that? I've stored 3 9 in C0, right? Yeah, confirm to me I'm not going crazy. 3 9 in C0. That there. And then I load C0 and I store it on the screen so I can see it, and now it is 4 9. And this is before it's done anything. It's before it's printed anything. Oh my God. What I'm going to do, show thing, RTS, right? And this code is going to show the contents of C0. We're going to store that in there, and then I'm going to do load a immediate dollar, let's say 55, and store that in dollar 8840 to help identify the bits, and then we'll do the lowest bytes of the nibbles like so. And in here I've got to watch out that this will modify the accumulator, so let's push the accumulator and then pull the accumulator. So I'm preserving the accumulator, and so then this show thing can be put anywhere, and I'm going to do JSR show thing. Oh my word. What do we get? Okay, you can see that the top nibble is 0100 and the bottom nibble is 1001 with 49. Okay, we're seeing the last one that was, yeah. So what I'm going to do is comment those out a minute, and we'll go straight to here, taking nothing for granted. JSR show thing, and surely it'll show 39. It does. That's 39. 0011 1001 39. So somehow this goes from being 39 to 49. Put it at the beginning of the function. It's 49. What? What? I'm not going crazy, am I? Here, thank you, Q092. You don't know how much that means to me. Those question marks and exclamation marks is basically saying, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is... I've never seen anything like it. I can only assume it's a bug in... It has to be a bug in the emulator somehow. It's impossible. You tell me how it's possible. How is that possible? So what we do now is we go into the realm of well, we are full in the twilight zone now. The thing is, okay, let's not make any assumptions. No assumptions at all. I think it's good to make 0 assumptions. So I'm going to take that off, right? And we're going to just look at the value now afterwards. What's the value now? Oh my God, it's spelled back. It's gone back. How can it go back? In dark reality, I feel like I'm debugging with a broken debugger. It's 39. That's 39 now. I hate this emulator. This is an emulator bug. How is it possible I've come across an emulator bug? Surely. Dear. Can I call this an emulator bug yet? Oh wow. I think it's an emulator bug that was triggered by the fact that there is some kind of set and clear of the decimal flag that existed anywhere in the code. It's about the only thing I could think it could be. It's gone back. It's gone back. Yes. Yes. If I put it out of zero page, I didn't get it. But then I saw that sometimes in zero page it does it. But you can play all these games on the emulator. Plays games. They don't crash. They work. Or do they? I mean, maybe that's why my game doesn't feel right. I don't know. You start questioning everything now. The thing is, I'm running out of things to try, you know. All right, you know what I'm going to do? Just give up. Load a immediate, so store it in BCD. Right, so this I can then change, right? And I can put that in here as well. So now it's using the official address for this, which currently is C0. We'll see what we get. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do be a video game programmer, they said. Be a pioneer, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Got this show. It'd be good if I could specify another address for this. So the easiest way to do this without messing with stuff, it would be to use a macro really, but what I'm going to do is add 10 to each of these. So now I can display 2 of these. If I use show thing, I use show thing 2. Right. So what we do, show thing, right? So it will display both. And you can see there. So this is the first one, and this is show thing 2. And you can see that they are the same. Okay. Then we move show thing 2 to inside the function call. Oh, no, wait a minute. I put it inside the wrong function call. That was interesting in itself. I put it inside this function call. Here, show thing 2. Look, I'm not going crazy. That is, they're not the same anymore. They were both showing 39 because I put it in the wrong function. But now, if I do a JSR to draw, now it's not. So it's interesting that it depended on the function. So what I'm going to do now is this. We do an RTS in here, and then we do if 0. We just remove this code. So all that draw BCD does is does the show thing. I bet you now they'll both show 39. No. I mean, I'm literally... Oh, this is weird. Have I put both the drawers before... They're different. How is that even possible? Oh, it's because I'm doing the draw. I'm still doing this draw, right? Yeah, because it got overwritten. So yes, it overwrote it with the one inside the function. So okay, what? Now I'm not even calling the original draw BCD anymore. We have literally this code. Talk about a loose cannon. They're different. The first one is 39. The second one is 49. The code is identical. Let's put some other address, like 88900. Right, oh. Number does not fit in 8 bits on 252. Yeah, it doesn't like that I did that because of... All right, so what I'm going to do is I'll put... Just to do this, we'll just call it that, and then I can put that there, and then I can put that there, right? And then we set this score BCD test is equal $8900. Let's see if that should compile. Right. That is the actual byte itself. I'm using this piece of memory as the thing that I'm working with. And we can see they all agree. Right. But if I change that to, say, 89 in 0-page memory, then what? They agree. If I put it at C0 in 0-page memory, they don't agree. It's beginning to look pretty damning that it's a bug. And I've got a feeling it's because I'm playing with the stack. And I imagine that the stack wasn't used much in the majority of games that were made. I was looking, I used the stack because I didn't know that it was only 3 cycles. But that's got to be the thing, I'm using the stack. But no, surely, there's got to be all right to use the stack. Pull A, push A has got to be all right. And the stack stays in page 1, yeah. So it can't interfere with anything, you're right. I was thinking, right, if there's a compiler bug, what's tricky, or well, it could be. Could it be a compiler? No, it couldn't really be a compiler bug or assembler bug. But you know, here you know what I can do? I can get rid of the push A, pull A here because this is stripped to the bone now. It doesn't matter. Will that do the same thing? I've got a feeling it. No, it's different. It's got nothing to do with that. I mean, I could run these through so that it just goes show thing 1 does both by commenting out the RTS, and then I can just put that down and say, did this do it? Frack me. What the hell is going on here? I've got it down to the point where it's literally... It gets worse, doesn't it? It's like paring it down to the bone. It's not. I don't even need to call a function anymore. What's going on? Look, I could get rid of that. Right? Oh, it doesn't like it. What's wrong? Value not defined of line 349. What's it not defined? 349. 349. Yeah, there. I'll just get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. Right. Now that's interesting. You see, because now it's working. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do you see that? It is actually the same for one frame, and then it changes. Hey Andrew, welcome. Yes, but the operating system, the Atom, anything in 0 page from 80 downwards is reserved, theoretically. However, it doesn't have an interrupt system. So once my game is running, assumptions, check your assumptions, hang on, you have a point. Oh. All right, well, I am making one call to the operating system, which is to do the vsync. So it is technically possible that by using memory below 80, I could be causing problems. Yeah, it doesn't use any, there are no interrupts, but if I was calling, I was saying I'm not using the operating system, but in fact that's not entirely true. I am using a single call on the operating system to do the vsync. Just calling the ROM. And I don't know what the consequences of that are, but the game is running. And the other point that's interesting is that it does actually come up the same. I know if you look you probably can't see it on the screen, but yeah, I can see it just blink for a moment. So for the first frame, yes, I just don't know how the code works. I tried to debug the, I tried to disassemble the vsync code. I didn't understand it. It's a bit of a mess. So I just called it. But that's probably where it's going wrong. And in fact, the evidence is pointing that way. So in fact, you were spot on with that question. I was going, no, it's okay, I can use... But it must be because I've modified some memory location that has upset the vsync. So why it would cause this when I am not using... You see, C0, which is my current value that I'm using, that's outside. That's not operating system memory. Operating system is F7 and below. Sorry, 7F and below. But that isn't to say that if I mess, if I'm making any operating system call and I have messed with memory below 80, 7F and below, then all bets are off, right? Because the code could be doing something really crazy after that, like overwriting random blocks of memory at memory locations, or incrementing, or adding 16 to a memory location, and it's adding 16 to this memory location, and I can see that it happens a frame after, which was difficult. I've only just seen that. I wish I'd seen that before. But what would cause that? A VSync, because it would do it, and then on the next VSync, it has to be that. My gosh. Well, I can test that, so I will test that out in a minute. So yeah, I could disable the VSync, and I think if I do this, this is disabling the VSync. It's not VSync, but it could be something else. This is, as soon as you disable VSync, you're going to get a whole bunch of noise, right? Because you can't access video memory while the video memory is being accessed by the video circuitry. But you can see that that was a good idea, but it isn't that. And it could be that some other code was modifying the score or adding a value to the score. And I give that would be my immediate thought, except that I've reduced this down to a special case with random value C0 in, well, you know, location C0 in 0 page, which nothing else is accessing at all. This is crazy. Utterly crazy. Maybe I'm making some other. Let's see what else I'm doing in 0 page. Well, there is this score here. So, you know, I could make this a D0. And I'm writing to some location. And maybe there is an interrupt system. I thought there wasn't. I didn't think the Atom had capability, but we'll see. No, it still does it. 1 frame later. So here's the thing. I need to put a halt because I didn't notice that. And there's a lesson there, is that when they're testing these things, you should always put halts in. This is why I go through and I put halts in and say, stop what you're doing. Don't, before I take a reading of what happened, stop the hell. Just stop, right? We're going to try that. If it still does it after I do the stop, then, well, honestly, this show thing here, which is running through, is enough to show the problem. Okay. From the second address. This is hardwired. It has to be. It has to be a bug in the emulator. I don't even think it can be a bug in the assembler. But you know what? Let's do this. It goes through, it does the show thing, and I jump halt. The game won't run. Nothing else is going to run. The only thing that's going to happen, it's going to get held in a loop and increment the first byte of video memory. And look at that. And it's calling VSync. It's because it get called a second time. Yeah, but it shouldn't matter. I was thinking, oh, when it gets called a second time, you didn't think about that. It gets called again on the next frame. Does it? But the thing is, even if that was the case, they would both increment. We would end up with the same value. It is literally takes a value from this address, stores it in video memory, and then takes the same value and stores it in a different place in video memory, and this is the one that gets modified. But not yet. They're agreeing right now. So how can I you know what I could do? Oh jeez, I'm hacking away here like crazy. But what I'm going to do is, when it does the draw, I'm inside the draw score routine. I mean, where is that called? It's called in initialization. I don't think it's even called in my main loop. No, it's called in initialization. It's never called again. It gets weirder and weirder. Draw the score. Okay, what I'm going to do is yes, I'm going to just add some kind of right, and then we'll put in there, it's a single byte value and it's a 0. And I've lost where I was. Oh yeah, draw score. And so when it comes into here, we'll know that that value at that address, I mean the byte at that address, is going to be 0. And I have a jump halt here, but what I'm going to do is branch if equal oh my god 1 OMG 1, and then oh load A with OMG test, branch if equal OMG 1, otherwise increment OMG test, OMG, so, right? So it's going to be 0. So the first time it's not going to halt, the second time it will halt. But it'll never get called again, it'll never halt. Yeah, that's the point. It doesn't halt. I put in this test, but it only gets called once. It's an emulator bug. It has to be an emulator bug. The weirdest emulator bug ever. Because just to explain why, it has to be an emulator bug. Is that I don't write it again. I only write it once. So the screen has modified itself. It's like there's nothing that starts off okay, as I showed. It starts off okay, but then it gets 16 added to it. But this code isn't executed again. I mean, I can probably show that if I did this. Well, just to test this properly, let's put this, oh, let's put this twice. just to show that it would halt. Oh, okay. That didn't work, which in itself is a bit weird. I mean, that's weird. I don't know what to believe anymore. Jump halt. Right, will that halt? Okay, yeah, that halted. Then I load a OMG test, branch if equal OMG1, increment OMG test. Oh, there was a mistake. Oh, it was never going to increment that. That's pilot error. Okay, try again. Okay, that's better. No, it's a 3.9. So that means, though, to be fair, the test that I did before was invalid. So let's try again. How many times is this called? Called once. Because it didn't stop. It's changed. Where does it change? I can put this halt in different places, right? I think I'm going to try that. Let's get rid of that. Make sure that it's doing it. Now, the poking values into the screen memory, you see things immediately. So I can just put a halt anywhere I like, and I'm going to try that because I just put the halt here, JSR halt. Something has to happen that causes it to occur. There they agree. There's no problem there. We do test loop with the vsync. After the vsync, it's all good. We get to we get to here, and they're different. It means that something's happening in... Okay, looks like there's this code here. There is code here messing around with the drawing, right? But again, just to defend my position here, I did completely change that test so that it's not using the draw score. All that does now is set some values up in 0 page and run the test. And using the value where I'm storing the 3.9 that becomes the 4.9 is stored in, is using score BCD test, which is not this, but it's suspicious that it sort of could be the same or connected. But let's just move this back then. So, you know, very odd. That's why I saw it in the vsync. If it's happening down here, there is a vsync in between, and that vsync allows me to see the frame before. I can just see it blink. So, okay, that's making sense. But now they're the same. So we just need to keep moving down until eventually we'll find something, won't we? We've got the vsync here. Nope, nothing there. Oh, look, set decimal mode. That's for when I was making the thing count? I guess. Nope. They're all good. There is another call to that draw function. I missed that. Okay. The line add with carry immediate 10. Yeah. Well, I can. Let's say we can try, say 20. It might be that it's that for some reason, I don't know. Oh, it is. It's now 5. But remember that this is operating on score BCD, which is currently C0. Oh, it's not. I think I had a clash in here. I'm using the same value. I'm feeling like a fool. No, it's not possible, is it? Oh, it is. There we go. Aha. I'm still confused as to how that happened. But there's this code needs to be removed, but I still don't understand why. Except that there was a call to this draw BCD. A second one, wasn't there? Oh. Draw BCD, draw BCD. Show thing. Oh. I would. Okay. You got me. There he is. And this is such an old story. It's like there's an assembler bug. There's a problem with the emulator. There's a problem with something. No. What the problem was, there was a call that I was working in this here, and I was working under the assumption that the only calls to draw in BCD were being made in here, because I was in the point of refactoring. What I didn't do was check that assumption. Why did I not check that assumption? Because I was working under the assumption, when I saw it go wrong, that it was all happening in one pass, and I was putting halts in. But what I was missing was that, yes, this is only called once, but between this test loop, you see, this is the problem, is this test stuff here. I assumed that when I took, I assumed that when I took this out, I took out all of this, or I just forgot about all of this. And this was another test code for checking that the score could count. So that 10 that I was adding in decimal mode, which is why it doesn't need to be $10, was being done after I initialized. Yeah, so it's straightforward. It was going to the higher value purely because... No, but why is it didn't update? Oh, yeah, it's not quite totally the same story. It's not quite right though, because why the hell did it modify the screen memory? It's still wrong. How did it end up? I only write to this memory location. You think about it, I only write to this memory location. The point I tested, that only gets called once. It's not like score BCD is pointing to video memory. It isn't. Score BCD is pointing to zero page memory. I'd already covered this possibility because I copy zero page to screen. I only copy zero page to screen once. How is it modifying the screen again? That's the question. So we're not over yet. We're not at the end of the mystery. By a long shot. There, we're back to the case where it's modified. The problem is, why is it modifying the screen? Probably, again, it's just, you know, me not understanding what is going on. I mean, it's got to be. But I'm not going to be happy unless I get down to until it makes sense. And it doesn't quite make sense yet. So, okay, now at this point, everything is good. Oh, wait a minute. Because I have this show thing here, that's how it's modifying it. So, what the problem is in the post-mortem was I was doing various tests. This test had a flaw in it. The flaw was that I continued to have this could be called from here because I put this in for another test. This needed to be removed in case there was something calling this. It was being called afterwards. Flipping heck. Okay, I'm happy now. I'm content. So what do we do? At this point then we go and do undo, undo, undo. I'm doing everything to get back to the point. Whereas you can see that this is the whole debugging session rushing before our eyes. Jeez. It happens to everyone. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. Eventually you'll get another one of these again, especially when programming in assembler. I just hope I can get the code back to somewhere before I did all of this checking. Still checking. There's still more on the 39, 42. Clear score. Draw score. I'm still checking the 39. 49 saying what's going on here, but I know now. More still doing it. When I've got back to this, then I will fix it and you can see exactly what the problem was. Oh man, look, then I'm trying different memory addresses. Oh, this is still, there's the checking that, and look, still 98, checking different values, push to stack, jump, that's still a debugging code, still more fat test values. Oh man. I feel a fool. low day 6. Yeah, that was the test where I was saying, okay, can I put 6 in all the digits? It was 99. More test values. More test values. Try it in a different address again. Low day, immediate 0. The problem was, what was the problem? The problem was I was clearing the score. I feel so foolish. I was clearing the score, but it was showing 10. Because it added 10 to the score. Oh well, I think we'll go from that point. It was here. Yes. Rewound 10. That was how it started. I cleared the score. Why have I got 10? And the answer should have been, you got 10 because you added 10 to the score, because this code that was here is not actually commented out. I mean, like, it will be commented out now, or there. And you do that, and then you run the thing again, and then it's like, your score is 0. Thank you very much. Oh well, that was fun. It was always check your assumptions. I remember looking at that code and saying, oh, that's not being used anymore. Thank you for your help on the channel. That was very useful. Helped me keep my sanity and stay focused. And that's where, so where was I at then? I was getting to the point where, I'm trying to get to the point where the game is, yeah, now with a reset score. And then I want to make it so when I press, say, the space bar, the ship will appear. But I'm done for tonight. I think that's a good place to leave it. Thank you very much for watching and helping me out. And a lesson to be learned there. Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Have a good night, and see you again soon. Where's that thing gone?